Welcome to the Daily Review. This is Razak, Senior Trading Strategist here at CMTrading. And today is August 16, 2023, and today is Wednesday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, we're watching the U.S. market slide. Now the question is whether or not this is in anticipation of today's major economic events. So today at 8 p.m. South African time, FOMC Meeting Minutes, which is a follow-up meeting to the last interest rate decisions from the Federal Reserve. And also today, we have a major bellwether, CISCO, coming out with its quarterly earning reports. Now looking at the major markets today, as we're going into these numbers, starting out with the Forex symbol, the Australian dollar slides below its support. Looking at the indices, both the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ sell off. And looking at the commodities, gold and oil, pretty much unchanged day to day. Now looking at the stocks, ALCOA breaking a major support level and tech stocks sliding further. Now lastly, looking at cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin slides as well. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So here we go. We're going to first start with the Australian dollar. And it's sitting on supporters level. It's just below its real supporters level at 64.73. I wouldn't say that this has officially broken support level, because if it did, it would be somewhere in the 63.60-ish level. And right now it's 64.73. So we do have some way to go down. We are looking at a weekly chart. So this does still have potential to sell off. Question is how much further. Now looking at the Japanese yen, it did gain and it's unchanged day to day, really not much doing here as it's kind of leveled off from its sell-off versus the dollar. Now jumping into commodities, both first starting out with oil, $80 a barrel, not doing much as it slid from its $84-ish range. And looking at gold, also sliding, but day to day unchanged. 1905 was where we were yesterday. I did say that it would hit the supporters level on 1900, and that is exactly what we're doing. We're hitting that 200-day moving average, and you can see that green candle already developed. Question is that whether or not this will accelerate on the downside. So, I don't like picking bottoms. I don't like necessarily when it's sliding off with increased volume, okay, which is what it's doing. So I'd be a little bit cautious here before buying it at the bottom of the range. Now jumping into the U.S. markets, both the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ sold off. You can see here 35,300-ish level down to 33,500-ish level. So it's not a major sell-off, but it's a sell-off from 35,300 to 35,000. That is a decent sell-off for an intraday. That's over 300 points. Looking at it, the NASDAQ also did retrace after we got that bounce. Now, here's the interesting thing, okay? When we jump to the stocks, ALCOA breaking a major supporters level. Now, this is very important because ALCOA represents really a lot of the old school kind of production in the United States. It carries all the metals, okay? Aluminum and all the other metals that you're making, dishwashers and machines with and all that type of stuff. So this is very important because if ALCOA is slowing down, there will be a slowdown in the rest of the market and might catch up to the tech stocks as well. So keep that in mind as this is a major bellwether as well. And you can see that on a weekly chart, how we broke that 200-day moving average, and that was really important. And since then, we're breaking it further. And look at this. This is another point, okay? When you have the crossover of the 30-day moving average over the 8-day moving average, that's a point where acceleration could start happening. And that's really a sell-off that's stronger, and the 8-day is not even catching up to it. Now, looking at Facebook, we're crossing over as well on the 8-day moving average. However, does look like it's leveling off, and Microsoft also just leveling off here. And if we look at Apple, it did continue to weaken at 177. Now, today's news from the FOMC might add some character to the market in terms of giving us direction what the Fed's going to do moving down the line with its interest rate decisions because of inflation. Has that subsided enough for us to stop increasing interest rates? And that's going to be the question everybody's going to want to answer. Now, jumping into CISCO, where it's coming out with its quarterly earning reports, this is really important. It has strengthened, and it is relatively strong, close to its highs for the year. So this is something to note, okay? If it does come out with lackluster report, not such positive news, we may see it sell off as well. Now, joining the gang is Bitcoin, selling off and just trickling lower, I would call it, to 29,161. Again, not anything that is bouncing out saying buy me or sell me, but it's just important to note and just keep it in mind because it may accelerate at one point if it breaks support. This is Fed Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.